Have you noticed how modern people fear silence more than suffering? They stay in dead relationships just to avoid going home to an empty room. They tolerate cold conversations, mechanical intimacy, emotional humiliation, betrayal disguised as mistakes, and years of psychological exhaustion simply because solitude terrifies them more than unhappiness. And society encourages this. Since childhood, people are programmed with the same narrative. Somewhere in the world, there is someone meant for you. A person who will complete you, heal you, save you from yourself. Maybe that is one of the most dangerous myths humanity has ever created. Because the moment you believe your peace depends on another person, you become fragile, easy to manipulate, easy to emotionally enslave. The modern individual no longer knows how to exist alone. And that changes everything. People no longer enter relationships because they deeply admire each other. Most relationships today are psychological survival contracts. Emotional anesthesia agreements between two lonely minds trying to distract themselves from existence. That sounds cruel. But reality usually is. Look around carefully. How many couples genuinely seem at peace? Not performing happiness online, not posting filtered vacations, not uploading anniversary captions written like advertisements for a life they secretly resent. Actually at peace. Very few. Most look emotionally exhausted, spiritually drained, trapped inside routines that slowly killed the mystery between them years ago. And still they remain together. Because humans fear emptiness more than misery. There are people married for 20 years who feel lonelier than a man sitting alone in a dim bar at 2 a.m., staring into a glass that stopped meaning anything an hour ago. There are couples sleeping beside strangers, people kissing out of habit, people saying "I love you" with the emotional weight of someone ordering coffee. And maybe the darkest part is this: many of them know it. But leaving would force them to confront themselves again. And most people are not prepared for that encounter. Because solitude reveals things. It reveals dependency. It reveals insecurity. It reveals how much of your personality was built around external validation. It reveals how little of your identity actually belongs to you. That is why people jump from relationship to relationship so quickly now. They are not searching for love. They are escaping themselves. And perhaps that is why being single makes more sense today than ever before. Not because love is evil, not because connection is meaningless, but because modern relationships are often built on psychological instability, emotional hunger, fear of abandonment, social pressure, hormonal obsession, and mutual loneliness mistaken for destiny. The ancient mystics understood something modern society forgot. Attachment is suffering. Buddhist philosophy warned about it thousands of years ago. Stoics warned about emotional dependency. Even Christianity carries traces of this truth when it speaks about the emptiness of earthly attachment. Everything temporary eventually becomes a source of pain when treated as permanent. And human beings are temporary creatures pretending they can make eternal promises. That contradiction destroys people. The truth is uncomfortable. Romantic love does not save the human condition. It distracts from it, for a while. Then reality returns, and reality always returns. Modern society sells relationships like salvation. Find someone, get married, build a family, buy a house, post smiling pictures during holidays while both people silently wonder where their souls disappeared. The entire structure of modern culture treats singleness like failure, as if existing without romantic validation means something is wrong with you. And because of that, millions of people enter relationships they never truly wanted. Not from love, from fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of social judgment, fear of growing old without witnesses. But reality keeps exposing the lie. A relationship does not automatically create meaning. It does not cure existential emptiness. It does not erase trauma. It does not repair insecurity. It does not silence the mind at 3 a.m. when consciousness suddenly remembers mortality. Many relationships actually intensify suffering, because now your internal chaos merges with someone else's chaos. Two incomplete people expecting mutual rescue eventually become disappointed with each other. That disappointment slowly transforms into resentment, then routine, then emotional numbness. And numbness is one of the quietest forms of death. People often confuse emotional dependence with love because dependence feels intense. But intensity means nothing. Drugs are intense. Obsessions are intense. Self-destruction is intense. Depth and intensity are not the same thing. A person can crave another human being with absolute desperation and still not love them at all. Sometimes they only love what that person temporarily removes: silence, insecurity, emptiness, self-awareness. That is why breakups feel like psychological withdrawal symptoms. Because for many people, relationships function like emotional narcotics. And the modern world made this worse. Dating apps transformed intimacy into endless comparison. Social media destroyed mystery. Hypersexualization weakened emotional depth. People became addicted to novelty, attention, validation, stimulation. Everything became temporary, even affection. Today, many people do not seek connection. They seek distraction powerful enough to keep existential despair unconscious. But despair always waits patiently underneath pleasure. Eventually, the excitement fades. Bodies become familiar. Conversations repeat themselves. Mystery dies. Reality emerges. And reality is rarely cinematic. You finally see the person without projection, without fantasy, without hormonal intoxication. That is usually where suffering begins. Because passion is often projection wearing perfume. People do not fall in love with reality first. They fall in love with imagined versions of reality. And imagined things always collapse. That may be why peaceful single people disturb society so much. They silently prove something most people desperately avoid admitting. You can exist without romantic completion. You can survive without constant emotional validation. You can build meaning outside the traditional script. And for a civilization emotionally addicted to dependency, that becomes threatening. Few forces distort human psychology more violently than desire. The Greeks understood this. The Buddhists understood this. Even philosophers like Schopenhauer saw romantic obsession as nature manipulating human beings through illusion. Love is often presented as transcendence. In reality, it frequently resembles possession. People lose dignity for attention, lose peace for attachment, lose identity trying to maintain emotional approval from another person. And society calls this beautiful. Someone waits all night for a message, feels anxiety when ignored, changes personality to remain desirable, accepts emotional breadcrumbs as intimacy, then writes poetry about it. Human beings are remarkably talented at romanticizing their own psychological imprisonment. The terrifying part is that most people never truly see each other. They see projections. A lonely person meets another lonely person. Both construct idealized fantasies. Both pretend. Both perform. Both unconsciously negotiate emotional needs. Then time destroys the performance. Eventually masks fall. Traumas appear. Contradictions emerge. Desire weakens. Reality enters the room, and reality is rarely compatible with fantasy. Modern culture keeps glorifying emotional chaos as proof of passion. Jealousy becomes deep love. Obsession becomes soul connection. Dependency becomes romance. Possessiveness becomes care. But unhealthy attachment has always existed. People simply turned it into entertainment. There is also something deeply tragic about how temporary human emotion really is. people swear eternal love while being internally unstable creatures whose desires constantly mutate. A person can genuinely love you today and emotionally detach tomorrow, not necessarily from cruelty, sometimes because consciousness itself changes. That is what makes romantic promises so fragile. Humans demand permanence from beings built from impermanence, and this conflict creates endless suffering. Even biologically, passion was never designed to remain eternal. Neuroscience already shows that infatuation changes brain chemistry temporarily. The magic people worship often resembles a neurological storm more than spiritual destiny. Yet modern culture transformed temporary hormonal intensity into the central purpose of existence. No wonder so many people feel broken afterward. They expected transcendence. They found human limitation. And maybe that is the hidden cruelty of romance. It briefly gives people the illusion of escaping existential loneliness before reminding them they never truly escaped at all. At first, solitude feels unbearable. Silence becomes loud. The room feels hostile. Time stretches strangely. Without distractions, people finally encounter their own minds directly. That encounter is terrifying for most individuals, because modern life trains humans to avoid inner confrontation at all costs. Constant notifications, constant entertainment, constant stimulation, constant conversation. Noise everywhere. Why? Because silence exposes things. It exposes unresolved pain, unprocessed trauma, meaninglessness, spiritual emptiness, fear of death, fear of insignificance. Relationships often function as sophisticated distractions from those realities. But solitude removes anesthesia. And after enough time alone, something strange begins happening. You start seeing clearly. You notice how much of your behavior existed for approval, how many desires were socially implanted, how many life goals were inherited rather than consciously chosen. Most people never question the script: date, marry, reproduce, work, age, die, repeat. Society calls this normal simply because repetition became tradition. But being alone long enough creates distance from collective hypnosis. You begin understanding that existence has no guaranteed meaning handed to you, no cosmic obligation forcing you into conventional life structures. That realization is both horrifying and liberating. Because if meaning is not pre-assigned, then you are radically free. And radically free people are difficult to control. A truly independent individual becomes dangerous to systems built on conformity. That is one reason society subtly pressures everyone toward couplehood. Emotionally dependent people are more predictable. A single person with inner stability possesses frightening levels of freedom. They can disappear into philosophy for years, dedicate themselves entirely to art, travel without negotiation, reinvent identity repeatedly, obsess over creation, spirituality, knowledge, silence, discipline, or self-mastery, without constantly managing emotional maintenance. Nikola Tesla understood this. So did monks. So did mystics. So did countless philosophers who withdrew from society, not because they hated humanity, but because deep introspection requires silence. The soul cannot hear itself clearly inside constant emotional noise. And maybe this is why many people fear being alone. Solitude destroys illusions. It reveals how many relationships survive through routine rather than connection. How much affection hides possession. How much love is merely fear of abandonment wearing sentimental language. The longer you stay alone, the harder it becomes to tolerate artificiality. Because solitude sharpens perception. And once someone truly learns how to exist peacefully alone, they become almost impossible to emotionally manipulate. This may be the hardest truth of all. Every consciousness is isolated. No matter how loved you are, no matter how many people surround you, No matter how intimate the relationship appears, there is always distance. Nobody fully enters your mind. Nobody experiences your memories exactly as you do. Nobody feels your suffering with perfect accuracy. A part of you will always remain untranslated. And maybe that is the silent tragedy hidden beneath all human connection. People spend their entire lives trying to escape existential isolation through romance. They crave fusion, total understanding, permanent belonging. But complete merging between two consciousnesses never truly happens. Love can soften loneliness temporarily. It can warm existence. It can make suffering more bearable. But it cannot erase separation itself. Death eventually exposes this truth mercilessly. One person always leaves first. Always. One day someone becomes a memory, a photograph, a voice trapped in old recordings, an empty side of the bed, a silence inside familiar rooms. Human beings try desperately not to think about this, but mortality sits underneath every relationship like a shadow waiting patiently. There are no biologically permanent happy endings, only temporary connections interrupted by time. And perhaps maturity begins when someone accepts this without illusion, not cynically, not bitterly, clearly. Because depending entirely on another person for psychological stability means building your inner world on something inherently unstable. People change, bodies decay, desires mutate, minds drift apart, affection fluctuates. Even the person promising forever is still temporary. That realization sounds depressing at first, but there is strange spiritual clarity hidden inside it. Once you stop expecting salvation from human attachment, relationships become lighter, cleaner, more honest. You stop worshiping people. You stop turning lovers into gods. You stop expecting another imperfect human being to rescue you from existence itself. And maybe that is where genuine peace begins. Not in emotional dependency, not in romantic fantasy, not in obsessive attachment, but in learning how to sit alone with your own consciousness without collapsing. That is rare, extremely rare. Most people need constant stimulation because silence threatens them. Silence forces confrontation with the abyss inside themselves. And there is an abyss, a spiritual emptiness, an existential hunger, a deep awareness that life is temporary and fragile and uncontrollable. Many relationships exist mainly to avoid looking directly at that truth. That is why people move from person to person endlessly, why they panic after breakups, why they cannot stay alone for even a few months without emotional desperation consuming them. Solitude removes masks, and not everyone survives what they find underneath. Being single does not automatically make someone wise. There are miserable single people. There are beautiful relationships too, rare ones, mature ones, honest ones. But maybe the real question is this: do you truly love someone, or are you using them to escape yourself? Because those are completely different things. One is connection, the other is psychological dependency disguised as romance. In the end, no relationship saves anyone from the human condition. No kiss stops time. No promise defeats impermanence. No embrace permanently fills existential emptiness. And perhaps there is something almost sacred about accepting this fully. To understand that love can be beautiful without becoming worship. That connection can matter without becoming dependency. That solitude is not punishment. Sometimes, solitude is initiation. A confrontation between you and the deepest parts of your own existence. And maybe learning how to remain whole inside that silence is one of the highest forms of freedom a human being can ever reach. If this video resonated with you, maybe it's because some part of you is already tired of the noise. Tired of fake intimacy. Tired of emotional performance. Tired of living inside expectations that were never truly yours. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding uncomfortable truths. They distract themselves endlessly because silence forces them to confront what they've been running from for years. That's why spaces like this matter. This channel was never created to entertain people for a few empty minutes. It was created for those who still think deeply, those who still question, those who feel disconnected from modern illusions and want something more real, more philosophical, more honest. And the truth is, building this kind of content takes time, energy, study, reflection, and a lot of invisible work behind every single video. So if these videos have helped you think differently, survive difficult moments, understand yourself better, or simply feel less alone in your own mind, there are ways to support the channel. You can become a member and unlock access to more than 100 exclusive videos made specifically for members. Deeper reflections, darker philosophies, more personal and uncensored content that goes far beyond what is posted publicly here. And if you want to support directly, you can also use the Super Thanks feature below the video. Even a small contribution genuinely helps keep this channel alive and allows more content like this to exist. But honestly, even if you never spend anything here, just being present already means a lot. Watching the videos, sharing them with someone who might need them, leaving a comment, returning to the channel. That alone already helps more than you probably realize. Because in a world addicted to superficiality, attention is one of the rarest forms of value left. And every person who stays here, listening until the end, becomes part of something increasingly rare. People still willing to face uncomfortable truths instead of running from them. Thank you for that. Truly.